The Supreme Court has expressed concerns on violence in Murshidabad even as Hindu families remain in refugee camps. Mamata Banerjee has met the Muslim clerics today. She has accused the central government and the border security force of failing to prevent infiltration from Bangladesh, claiming that miscreants from across the border were involved in the violence. She questioned the BSF's role and claimed the violence was pre-planned to create unrest and polarization in Bengal. The BJP has called out the failure of Mamata Banerjee government and accused Bengal Police of allowing rioters to target homes of Hindus. But there are over 300 Hindus that remain to be in refugee camps in Malda that are awaiting a safe return home. Let's start this conversation. Joining me on the telecast are my guests, and I'm going to start with Professor Subrata Mukherjee is a political analyst. Professor Mukherjee, the big allegation being made by Mamata Banerjee today, saying that these protests were premeditated, and she's spoken about the claim of the Bangladeshi individuals, Bangladeshi elements being part of this protest that turned violent, and she has blamed the Home Ministry, she has blamed the central government, she has blamed the BSF for allowing this apparent infiltration of Bangladeshis to participate in this violence. Now the question arises is, why has the Mamata Banerjee government not been able to quell this violence that has led to the death of 3 people? Professor Mukherjee, can you hear me?
Okay. Well, that's very unfortunate. You see, but immediately steps have been taken. Such things do occur not only in countries like ours with multiple problems, but even in advanced ones. But the fact is that the legal and the other steps are immediately taken. There is a larger coordination between the central forces and the state ones. So it has been brought to an end very clearly, and for the last 4 days there is no incidence of any violence. Today the government also announced certain compensations. So I think, looking to the possibilities, the government has taken the best possible action. There I don't think we can really fault the government.
But the question arises is, why did this violence take place in the first place?
This takes place because of many reasons. Manipur is still burning. There are many other places, same things are happening. So that is a larger question, you see. That's a structural problem. There is a crisis of belief structure, inability of the government to act promptly, and the redressal mechanism. So that we can discuss it at some other day.
No, but I'm not going to bring in Manipur and other developments, other unrest activities that have taken place in the rest of the country. I'm here focused on the Waqf Amendment Act and the violence that led to the death of 3 people. Homes and shops of several individuals in Murshidabad were burnt down. Mamata Banerjee at this point of time saying that it was not the fault of the TMC government. The 2 districts where, the 2 areas where this violence has ensued are the areas that are governed by Congress MPs. So is this deflection of blame that is taking place, which is something of a common occurrence amongst politicians? Every single time there is some unfortunate incident that takes place in their states.
It was defeated. This time Congress has no representation in Lok Sabha from West Bengal. The fact remains that it is an unfortunate incident. Such things do occur in our country like many others. But immediate step has been taken and it is under control. Looking to the larger issues of who are responsible, I think a future inquiry can reveal the details. But the important point to note is that, unlike in many other incidents, immediate action has followed and people are returning home. Compensation has been announced, and mind you, the Chief Secretary has been designated as the man who will look to the loss of property and then decide on the basis of his own personal assessment, which I think is rarely found in India. The chief of
Okay.
police was stationed there itself, so I don't think you can really fault the state government for it. It's unfortunate, but necessary action has been taken immediately.
Do you think it is right to fault the central government for this violence?
No, you see, it's not. We don't know the reasons of the violence. You see, it's a complicated issue because it's a border district, and there the BSF is in charge of looking to the border place where the state government's reach does not run. And you know that there are certain areas within the border that the state government cannot take action. So it's a
But
very
we
complicated
also
issue.
understand that there is a significant population of Bangladeshi immigrants and Rohingya that have come and settled in West Bengal. Is this not true?
Well, that I will not be able to ascertain because that's again the central government problem because the BSF is monitoring the border, and if the Rohingyas and all are there, I think bulk of them are in Bangladesh. But if some of them are in India and if they are in Bangladesh, in West Bengal, I'll not be able to tell you. But the
Okay.
fact remains that
Okay.
those are incidents not related to this violence.
Okay, all right. I have with me BJP spokesperson Dr. Shatorupa. And how do you react to Mamata Banerjee's allegations that if, as per sources within the Home Ministry, the central government, the Union Home Ministry, there are indications being made that Bangladeshis were involved in the violence that perpetuated in Murshidabad, then it is the responsibility of the central government. It is the BSF that is to be blamed and not the West Bengal government.
Megha, good evening. Obviously, the gentleman, with all due respect to him, he obviously has no idea what is happening in West Bengal, so I really don't want to react to him. But yes, we are blaming Mamata Banerjee singularly, squarely and singularly for the entire way Bengal is burning now. Her enticing comments, she has incited one particular community. She has was very systematically, knowingly, deliberately following an appeasement policy which has now gone even over her head, and she has absolutely no way of justifying what is happening. And based on what she said today at Netaji Indoor Stadium, I think everything is crossed all limits. She's been blaming the center, specifically the Home Minister. All I can say is, ये डर मुझे अच्छा लगा. The way the Chief Minister of a state is talking about the Home Minister of the nation, it is very obvious that her games have been caught, her gimmicks are now about to end. You know, it's all very well to blame the center, but what about her continuously appeasement politics? We have a minister, Siddiqullah Chaudhary, a Muslim minister who stands on the roads of Kolkata and claims that Mamata Banerjee has congratulated him for disrupting Kolkata traffic with such a huge gathering of Muslims. We have the Minister of Urban Development, Firhad Hakim. He says that, you know, unless you're born a Muslim, your life is not worth living. And Mamata Banerjee says nothing. There is another Muslim MLA who says that he will, throw Hindus to the Bhagirathi. Mamata Banerjee says nothing. On top of that, Mamata Banerjee goes for an Eid celebration, a religious gathering, mind you, and she makes a comment like, I'm sorry, I'm again having to quote a Hindi movie. You remember Diwar when Shashi Kapoor said, "Hamare paas maa hai." Mamata Banerjee has gone in a shirt. Do whatever you want to do. Tumhare paas didi hai. And this is not something that I am hearing. This is on television. This is on record. She has said this on a public.
But then Mamata Banerjee is saying that it is not her, it is not the TMC, but it is the BJP that is perpetuating polarization and communalization between Hindus and Muslims in West Bengal, in Murshidabad.
Megha, I've heard that. I heard what you said. I've heard Mamata Banerjee once again accusing BJP. All I can say is BJP. First of all, our state president has very categorically said that we hardly have an existence in Murshidabad. It is a largely Muslim populated area. So our organization itself is not strong enough to create this kind of a thing. And why on earth would we systematically get somebody to vandalize Hindu homes? It is Mamata Banerjee, and
Okay.
only Mamata Banerjee
Okay.
and her comments, which is
Okay, all right.
responsible for
I
Bengal
also have
burning
with me
today.
on the telecast Ashwini Mishra, Congress leader. Uh, Ashwini Mishra, what do you have to say about these protests that have unfortunately turned violent? Do you think this was organic or was this premeditated?
Mega, what is happening in West Bengal is very unfortunate. However, I heard both of their spokesperson. I think BJP is turning away from the very important responsibility. When violence happens in Kashmir, they blame Rohingyas that we are trying to create some. They are trying to create some unrest. They believe that there are a lot of migrants from Bangladesh as well as Rohingyas across the country. But when we talk about the violence in Bengal, because of Bangladeshi migrants, BJP turns its faces away. You cannot shy away from your responsibilities that you are the one who's protecting border. If infiltrations are happening, this is your responsibility to control the infiltrations. And it is not hidden from anyone that the violence happening in West Bengal or the border areas, maybe be it Manipur, is something BJP is not able to control. I am not here to protect TMC government. Whatever is happening in Bengal is unfortunate, but BJP as a central government cannot shy away from its responsibility. They are responsible for this violence. They have to be accountable. Problem with the BJP is this all communal politics or communal violence happening in India because of politics started increasing very rapidly from 2014 onward. And we know that BJP has been doing the politics of all the uh, basically Hindu Muslim politics. Here they're talking about only Muslims. When 300 kilometers jam happened during Mahakumbh in Ayodhya, that was a Hindu gathering, and nobody talked about it as a something should worry about. But when a jam in Calcutta happens because of Muslims were doing some prayers, that's she's questioning, right? That's the kind of hypocrisy BJP is putting into. They call themselves party of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, but they are the one who create all this communal violence. They are the one who is responsible all this communal, non-communal harmony happening in the country, and they should be accounted. They should be accounted for. You are in government from 11 years. Even if you start pointing fingers to the state government for the infiltration happening across the border, I think you should not be in center. Yes, Mega.
I'm going to put out a statement where Mamata Banerjee said that the region where the violence occurred is represented by Congress MP Dhulia, and Shamsherganj falls under Malda Dakshin Lok Sabha seat represented by Congress MP Isha Khan Chaudhary. Now, is this the TMC trying to distance itself from the violence and not take the blame?
End of day, all the people who are responsible for the violence, be it central government, be it state government, both has to be accountable. I am not saying that TMC can run away from its law and order situation. They also have to talk about law and order, and I welcome their move of creating an SIT on the law and order. Having said that, there are a lot of videos surfacing from the ground which talks about BJP leaders also was provoking the crowd, and I can see a lot of videos on Twitter that telling that there are a lot of BJP leaders also. Ma'am, you can also check on the Twitter. I can share you on the Twitter itself. You can just nod your head. I don't have a problem with that. Both should be accountable. Who was sitting in the government, who was responsible for law and order, who was responsible for infiltration, should take an accountability rather than blaming each other. What is happening here is BJP and TMC are just blaming each other and playing around and putting on someone else's head. This is the kind of politics which is not good for the country.
Okay. Dr. S.K. Datta also on the telecast with me. Dr. Datta, how do you view the situation? There has been a compensation that has been announced by Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee to the kin of the deceased. She has promised that the shops and the houses will be built under the welfare schemes of the TMC government. But the question continues to remain. who were these individuals who ignited this hatred, this clarion call to spread violence, to spread communalism, to burn down houses of Hindu residents in the area?
Well, everyone knows as to who are the ones who have ignited this whole thing and who are responsible for this whole thing. We all know the commentaries being given by Firad Hakim. We all know the commentaries being given by Siddiqullah Chaudhary, and also by that other MP from TMC, Mr. Haldar, when he says that anyone trying to look at the property of the work board, eyes will be gouged out and hands and legs and face will be brutally, broken. So that kind of a thing, when elected members, when they say this kind of poisonous things in public rallies, and when Mamata Didi herself, she says in Red Road rally during the time of the Eid that the minorities should not feel unsafe and insecure because your Didi is there to protect you, and I'll take care of all the issues which are related to the minority community and nothing to worry. And then she also talks about Gandha Dharma being practiced by the other side and all in an indirect way, trying to castigate and question the sanctity of the Sanatan Dharma. So it's quite obvious that things will happen in that way. Now, if she has formed an SIT, it is under compulsion because the kind of stern warning which the Calcutta High Court has issued on the Bengal government and also the observation of the Supreme Court today, she had no other option but to form it in an SIT. Second is like if she is giving compensation and if she is saying that the properties which have been burnt, that will be taken care of and it will be rebuilt by the government of Bengal. It is her duty and her responsibility to do this. She is not doing any kind of charity, or she is not doing ihsan on anyone by doing this. It is her responsibility. I was also appalled by the comment which she gave today, warning the Honorable Prime Minister, asking the Honorable Prime Minister to rein in the Home Minister and to keep him in check. Now, she has no right to give this kind of comments about the Home Minister of the country, and she has no right to challenge the authority of the Honorable Prime Minister. The problem is like Bengal is not new to violence. There has been violence in the past. There has been violence in Hooghly, in Howrah, in Behrampur, in Murshidabad, Malda, then in Dinajpur, like Bardhaman, Kuch Bihar, all those places, Shitankuchi and all those places many times in the past. Since 2019, Bengal has been reeling under violence, whether it's political violence, post-war violence, or communal violence. We have seen the kind of arson and the kind of plundering and the destruction of idols which had taken place last year during the Durga Puja celebration, Kali Puja celebration, then also during the Lakshmi Puja, as well as Saraswati Puja and Kartik Puja celebration in very many parts of Bengal, including Mithiapur, as well as in Garden Reach, So we all know as to who are the ones who have instigated this violence. Now she's trying to be very saintly and she's trying to cover, she has no other option because there is that fear of Article 355 and 356 looming over her head. And she knows that the way things are going in Bengal, sooner or later, there is high chances that president's rule will be imposed. So she has to find an escape route. That's the reason she is trying to create all this kind of theatrics as well as all this kind of melodramas.
Okay, I'm going to come to you, Professor Subrata Mukherjee, once again, and understanding from you what comes of all these cases and probes and inquiries and the SIT committees that are formed. There have been cases of violence that have been reported from West Bengal, as was being mentioned by Dr. S.K. Datta. But the question arises, what happens to these SIT probes, because these instances of violence and casualties and fatalities that are reported from West Bengal are not far and few in between, but they have become more sporadic, but at the same time more frequent in number. So is the government and the security law enforcement agencies doing enough to put the perpetrators behind bars and bring them to book?
I think so. Look to the geography of West Bengal. It's thrice as populated as India, and compared to the other states, both in context of communal harmony and peace, it is far ahead of many others. It's laughable to talk about a precedence rule because after Bombay case, there is a different set of procedure that is laid. Now the question is that if the BJP can criticize the TMC, TMC has also every right to criticize the other. The point that we should try to understand is that the consensual politics is far off from India and it is adversarial politics. That's why the real issues are getting postponed. So the first task is to find out who are the perpetrators of the crime and save the life and property of the people, and then really work out a proposition and a framework by which such incidents are become absolutely rare in the context of modern
But that's
India.
the question. Are we ever able to find out who the orchestrators of communal riots and violent protests that are taking place? Are we ever able to pin them down? Because there is no news that ever comes, and we are going to talk about it for a few days, and then it is going to be everything is going to be silent because somehow these probes don't seem to conclude anything. Somehow these perpetrators continue to walk scot free. So what happens, because these innocent lives are lost, property has been destructed, but who is there to actually be held accountable for it all?
Well, that's the purpose of the entire exercise. We should have to find out ways or means of tackling such crises, the problems, the vandalism, and that's what the government is all there. And the civil society and purpose of your channels and people like us to highlight the issues involved and to find out the solutions.
Okay.
A state like an individual is to find out solutions.
Okay. Dr. Sadarupa, what are the hopes that a solution can be found to this problem that seems to be plaguing West Bengal, not just in Murshidabad but in other parts of Bengal as well? And are you now satisfied that an SIT has been formed to look into the matter?
No. To answer your first question, Megha, there is no hope for West Bengal unless and until the people of West Bengal wake up and decide to change the government in the next elections. And your second question, no, SIT is formed only as a gallery show. Nothing will happen because everything happens as per what the Chief Minister wants. Everything happens on her onuprerona. You are seeing here what the footage that is being shown on your screen now. Police cars were vandalized, and the police minister, who is also the chief minister, told the police, lay off, don't do anything. So there is absolutely no solution to this because one reason, Mamata Banerjee has no intent of doing good in West Bengal. All her big talk about Mati Manush, let me tell you, she has ruined Bengal. Whatever was left of Bengal after 34 years of misrule of CPM, she has systematically ruined it over the last 15 years. One last line, I have to say, Ashwini, I think, takes the cake here because Mamata Banerjee spent almost some 15 minutes in her monologue in the Netaji Indoor Stadium today, blaming the Congress. Now he wants to take up cudgels against BJP for Trinamool. So there's obviously some huge identity crisis that Congress is going through. Best of luck to them. But as far as West Bengal is concerned, as long as this woman is sitting in Nabano, is still trying to rule West Bengal has absolutely no hope.
Okay.
No hope.
All right. On that note, I'm out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast. We'll keep updating you on the developments that are taking place in Murshidabad. An unfortunate incident that took place a few days ago led to the death of innocent people and destruction of property. An SIT finally being formed after an appeal was made in the Supreme Court for the same. But will there be results that the SIT team will be able to reveal in this case is a matter of waiting and watching. Thanks for watching NewsX.